All right. Well, thanks, Megan and Talia and Lacie, for joining us as we kind of capture homecoming memories from folks who've played in the past. We've got some student athletes. Meghan Bofenkamp played women's soccer for us. Talia Freeman was on our softball team, and Lacie Smith was on our women's volleyball team. Ladies, if you just take time, and Megan, I'll start with you. When did you play? Where are you from? And kind of tell us what you do now.
Sure. My name's Megan. Like Craig said, I played from, I guess my seasons were 2002 to 2005. So wait, is that right? Yeah, so long ago now. I'm from South Dakota, Sioux Falls, South Dakota specifically. Now I live in Austin, Texas. I've been here for about 6 months. And I work for a small software company. And I've been with them for almost 10 years. Did I get it all?
I think so.
Yeah, good. All right, Lacie, why don't you go ahead next?
Okay. Lacie Smith. I played volleyball from 2003 to 2006. I was in high school when I got recruited in Knoxville, Tennessee. I live in Houston, Texas now. I've been here for about a month and a half, and I am actually coaching again at a local school, and I'm running my personal training business and my training app. So I've been doing that for the last 6 years.
Good, good. And Talia, many alumni know you from just the area, so tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, side note, Megan and I are both Lacie's new clients on her app, so that's going pretty well.
Love the app.
Yeah, plug.
But I live in Beach Mountain, North Carolina, and I'm director of marketing at Beach Mountain Ski Resort. So I'm still close, and I will be taking on the role as Alumni Association president soon. So I hope to be working with the college a lot more. I played softball from 2002 or the season of 2003 to 2006.
All right. So as you thought about this Zoom call, give me, each one of you probably have unique perspectives on homecoming. Tell us what it was like, and I'll start. Lacie, it's a little different with regards to the gym and so on and so forth, but tell us what homecoming was like being a part of the women's volleyball team.
I mean, it was a big deal. Obviously, you want to win on homecoming, and I'm pretty sure we played against Mount Olive a couple times, which is our biggest rival. But as far as I remember, we beat them every time at home. So overall, it was always a really good homecoming on the volleyball side for sure. Right. So yeah, and then just playing in front of the crowd was a good hype.
Now, would you go after the volleyball game? Because the way we've got it scheduled now, volleyball plays roughly around noon, and then the soccers are closer to 2 and 4:30. After the volleyball game, would you kind of shower and rush out there to watch the soccer?
Well, after spending time in the training room, then I would, yeah, I would go and try to make it down there as fast as I could. But I lived on campus a lot of the years, so I made it out there pretty fast.
Good.
But yeah, that was always the deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talia, your perspective is going to be a little different because you probably didn't play in front of a large amount of crowds, whether it be an alumni game or a green and gold scrimmage. What are your memories of homecoming? And I've seen pictures of you in the homecoming parade and such. So talk to us a little bit about what your homecoming experience was like.
Homecoming's always been pretty nostalgic for me. I mean, that was like my first clear memory of Lees-McRae. And I was on homecoming court my freshman year. I remember because my softball coach nicknamed me Princess. And that was, just pretty entertaining. But I just really liked watching the soccer games. And, I planned the alumni parade or homecoming parade with student government. So that was fun. And, it was it's still to this day when the weather changes and it's fall up here, I get excited. It just reminds me of how much fun that day was.
So Megan, is that probably the largest crowd of people you've ever played in front of for a soccer game, or have there been other crowds?
At Lees-McRae, yeah, definitely, for sure. Yeah.
So
really
talk
fun.
about what it was like coming out of the locker room and realizing how many people were up there on the bank or around and so forth.
Yeah, it was actually interesting to hear Lacie and Talia's perspective because I never got to participate in anything other than the game because of the time we always played. Um, it was awesome. My most memorable one I think was actually my freshman year, which Lacie wasn't there yet, but Talia was. That's when we were still on the old game field. And that game field was so great because the fans were literally 3 feet from the sidelines. And I just remember there's so many people there, and it's my freshman year starting my, this homecoming game. And I look over the sidelines and all of the senior lacrosse players have literally brought their entire living room, like the TV, the couch, the lamps. And we're literally just sitting there screaming and partying. And it was hysterical. It was so funny. And like I said, when we moved up to the field that everyone's on now, it's really cool because everyone's on the bank, but you lost that fans kind of screaming in your face, which is good and bad depending on if you're on the visiting team or not. But it was just a really rowdy bunch from the start, and people would come out and scream and support, especially the women's team. I think we had a lot of the lacrosse team who liked watching that more than I think the guys team, which was fun because that doesn't normally happen. So that was crazy. And then moving up to the bigger field, obviously having the big crowd on the bank was just awesome and fun, and just a great environment to play on overall. But yeah.
Lacie and Megan, your teams had a lot of success, just not necessarily just on homecoming. They did well in the conference tournaments and won championships and went to regionals. Talia, the softball program has recently experienced that type of success, and you've been able to see homecoming probably a little bit more up close. How often are y'all able to stay in touch with Lees-McRae Athletics and the teams that you played on?
Well, the new softball coach actually just sent me an email with a little Bobcat update. So I was really excited about that. And I know that last year, I guess recently when they won conference, I guess that was 2 years ago. I mean, we were all watching it because now the cool thing is you can really engage online. And I love that about just your social media presence and being able to stream all the games. It's a really easy way to kind of keep things connected. And, part of homecoming for me, even though I wasn't playing, was getting to interact with the alums and the softball alums and just kind of building those connections. So it's been really fun over the years to build connections with the Lees-McRae athletes now. And it's been neat to watch the soccer and volleyball and softball coach all really taking initiatives, particularly this year, and really trying to engage again with alumni.
Good.
Yeah, the new volleyball coach started an alumni page for the volleyball girls. I know we had an alumni game. I don't know if it was last year or the year before that. I unfortunately couldn't make it, but they want to do another one whenever we're allowed to actually come back and play against them. So I know she's pushing really hard for just communication from alumni and the new athletes and stuff like that. So in the past 3 to 4 years, whenever the new coach started.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I noticed, I think, Craig, you're half the reason I see the stuff I do, just because, you were a cross country coach when we were there, and we've always kind of messaged, and, now you're in your position, and I've just slowly seen stuff that you've liked on Instagram, like the women's soccer team I know has a page now, so I follow that, and I'm kind of slowly getting back into it. It was really hard to go back from California, which is where I usually was, but now that I'm a little more central, I'm definitely gonna come check things out a little bit more and go hang out with Talia more. It's pretty quick flight now comparatively. I went back for one alumni game a couple years after I graduated. And actually my coach from 3 of those years also came back and was coaching the alumni. That was hilarious. And I hope that we can start that stuff back up. And I'd really like it too if they would do all this stuff around the same time. So, you know, we kind of have a diverse group of close friends. You know, Talia's in softball, Lacey's on volleyball. It's kind of random. And it would be nice if I would love to go watch Lacey's alumni game and then go play a soccer game, or even have the men's soccer team play the same day. I know at least whenever I was participating, it was always different seasons. I think even it would be cool if it was all a little more close together.
Okay. Well, you three stay pretty in touch with each other on a regular basis. How often are you able to talk to some of your other teammates and share a little bit about, you know, to use Talia's word, nostalgic, or think back on your time now that you've been out, you know, what seems like a decade based off the sheer numbers of it, maybe even a little longer in some cases?
I seem to only speak to like Danny Usdom and Christina Massey, just because they're both in the fitness world. But we don't really ever talk about volleyball. I think I'm actually the only one that still plays. Everybody else kind of like got married and had babies and did all that. So we don't really reminisce about volleyball times. For them, I speak to them because like they own their own gyms. So like we have a lot in common on that aspect, but I don't think I've actually like reminisced on volleyball times outside of like a random Facebook like timeline hop, you know, and like everybody gets tagged in it, sort of a, you know, quick little Facebook thing, you know.
Right.
Yeah, I guess same. I mean, I still, through social media, will talk with some of my teammates. You know, someone will post a time hop or something will come up on mine, which is completely ridiculous because we also had the benefit of being in school when Facebook came out in 2005. I was a senior, which is hilarious because there's some horrifying things on Facebook where you're like, oh my God, now my parents are on this. It's hilarious. But so everyone's pretty much on it. I think the older we get and the more people have kids, it slows down a little bit, but it's nice to have that. And there's definitely, you know, every couple months something will pop up and we'll all chat and laugh about it. Whatever the picture or the soccer game was that comes up.
What do you miss most about Banner Elk and Lees-McRae?
After living in Florida for 10 years, the weather, like just moving to Texas, like I'm getting a little bit of seasonal change right now, but I'm pretty sure it's just a cold front because I'm still in Houston. So the fact that it really didn't get any hotter than like 75, I miss that part. And just being in the mountains. I almost moved to Colorado instead of here, but other things brought me here. So I really miss just mountain towns and being able to hike and stuff like that. It's just really, really, really pretty up there. And that's what really brought me up there, other than my recruiting trip. But and the volleyball team, obviously, but it's just so beautiful there. So I miss that a lot.
Yeah, I would say the same, although I was in a pretty epic spot in California, in Aptos, California, you know, also the mountains and on the beach, perfect weather, really expensive though. I missed my rent. I think my senior year rent, I paid $150 a month. That was pretty amazing. Yeah, I just missed the small town vibe though. You know, I think the three of us were really living a life even when we were not in season and we had our jobs. Like I loved my job. I worked for Hawks Ski Resort for 4 years. I had so much fun. I just was always having fun. It was just such a great place to go to school, and I met so many cool people. I missed the lake in the summer and renting a pontoon. I miss all of that. I wish for sure that I could get back and do that more because, yeah, I've toyed with the idea a couple times in the time I've been gone of moving back and being like, Talia, I'm going to work for you. That's definitely come up a couple of times. Never pulled the trigger, and I'm good where I'm at now, but it's a pretty magical place for sure.
Talia, you've essentially grown up in this area.
Yeah, it definitely, my career now has kind of fallen into place, and I think it's really neat to see how Banner Elk's really kind of evolved, and there's just so many young families here and young professionals now, and just really a progressive area that's busy. It's just cool to see the growth within the college. And I'm lucky I still live here, so when my softball alums come back, I get to see them and engage with them, and I think staying here is a really good decision, and I'm more and more appreciative and grateful for that every day. I think, in college I had such an amazing experience, but I think I took it for granted just how beautiful and awesome this place is. So now, in my 30s, I'm actually a lot more appreciative.
If you had to go back in time, would you change a single thing about your experience at Lees-McRae? That's a loaded question, but still.
Oh man, I don't think so at all, actually. I had a lot of fun in college. Probably too much fun, actually. But I don't think I would change any of it.
I wouldn't. Definitely not.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I, probably did a lot of stupid things too, but had a lot of fun while I was doing it. And, Talia, Lacie, and I still talk every day on text message. And I mean, I met some of my favorite people in the whole world going there. And yeah, it was amazing. I loved it.
Well, listen, I can't thank y'all enough for doing this. I appreciate your time, and certainly the kind words you said about the college and the experience that you had. I think that's what makes Lees-McRae a pretty special place. The bonds that last well after you guys walk across the stage. So I'm proud of y'all. I appreciate you taking the time to get on today, and wish y'all the best of luck.